Hello YouTube friends, I've got this idea of something I would like to do for Advent. It's if you're watching this, it's the 1st of December 2018 and I will have got the hang of a few things. One of them is editing this and posting, delaying the posting, scheduling posts on YouTube. I've never done that. I'm going to give it a try. I'm going to create a separate playlist so that this playlist has got nothing to do with the content at the Last Homely House. I'll still carry on doing those videos. But what I decided I would do is I would read you some stories. Now, it might be that you've got grandchildren or children who would quite like to listen to some of these stories. You might like to listen to them yourself. I'm a massive fan of children's books. I love them. And the book that I want to read to you, we'll start with this one and see how we go, is this. It's called Grimble and Grimble at Christmas, written by Clement Freud. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit. So this first episode then is going to be a little bit about the book. It was written in 1968. So I was 12 years old when this was written. I didn't know it then. I've only got to know it as a grown-up and read it to my children. And I've actually read it many times to different groups of children. Years ago, I used to be, like you have the Cubs and the Scouts and the Girl Guides and the Brownies and all of that, and whatever else you've got, in all over the world. Well, there's a group called the Woodcraft Folk, which I was a leader of for a few years. And we went on residential camps. And one residential camp, I read this every night, a chapter from this. I'll tell you a little bit about Clement Freud. I've got him on my phone here on Wikipedia. So Clement Freud then, the name Freud, Sigmund Freud, he was his grandson. So Sigmund Freud, the psychoanalyst, Clement Freud was his grandson, and he's notorious for being a bit of a celebrity, and he was a cook, a television cook when in the very early days, but then he was a member of Parliament for the Liberal Party for quite a long time. I'm reading this off here now. He died in 1983 and he has what else can I tell you about him? Well, there he is. He was quite a notorious person in the UK although he did say, Clement Freud did say this fabulous quote, which because if I love New Zealand, I went there a few years ago and I absolutely love it. But Clement Freud, this famous quote from Clement Freud, he said, "I went to New Zealand, it was closed." Which made me laugh a lot, because New Zealand's got that sort of feel to it. It definitely wasn't closed when I went there, though. This book, then, is a children's book, and it's a bit quirky and a little bit weird, exactly the kind of thing I like. And when I've read it to children, my children, groups of children, visiting children, it's gone down very well indeed. So what I'm going to do, then, is read this book, Paching, in its entirety, and then I'm going to carve it up into little portions, put it into the playlist that's going to be called Grimble. And so if you wanted to get each episode, you could go to that playlist and watch them. I've rabbited on enough. I'm going to put my specs on and settle down in the sitting room here, and I'm going to read you Grimble by Clement Freud.